been about 6 months since I've added the Bilt MasterCard to my wallet, and at the end of 2024, I did make the claim that it would be the best credit card of 2025, or at least the best no annual fee card, which I still do stand by. Since posting that video at the end of 2024, there have been a few updates, or I guess Bilt has been in the headlines mostly for some negative reasons here over the last few months, but in my opinion, this card is still a no-brainer for a lot of people out there. Unless you're someone who's constantly trying to hit sign-up bonuses and putting all of your everyday spend to hit those minimum spend requirements, this Bilt card can actually be more of an annoyance or a hindrance in some cases, and I'll explain why. First, I want to share some of those updates that I referenced over these last few months since my last review of the card, and I'll also share my own personal experience, how I've been using the Bilt MasterCard and some of the value that I've been able to get, putting my rent and some other payments on this every single month. Over these last few months, a lot of things have happened that a lot of people agree on, and myself included, that are in fact a negative when it comes to Bilt as a company and could affect the way that they continue to grow into the future. Bilt was dominating headlines in February of 2025 when they had sent out a survey to all of its existing card holders, asking them for some feedback on what they were calling Bilt 2.0 and the next iteration of the current card, and also what some future card offerings could look like. I covered exactly what was in that survey and some of my takeaways from that, and if you are curious to see that, make sure you check out the video that I'll link right here and down below in the description. I have several key takeaways that I go over in that video and even a few predictions as well. But overall, I think the options that Bilt was giving us in that survey are very lackluster. There's certainly more to come on exactly what Bilt 2.0 is going to look like and what those different card offerings will actually be, thinking back half of 2025 when we actually get an announcement of some additional cards. But the one thing that's almost guaranteed to be included in this next iteration of the Bilt cards is going to be the ability to earn rewards on your mortgage payments every single month, where every single card offering that they showed us in that survey had the ability to earn 1x back on mortgages. And the fact that they are currently offering the ability to earn on your rent payments, which was seen nowhere else within the credit card space, and now adding that ability to earn on your mortgage payments, is going to just continue to open doors for Bilt and their future growth potential and adding incremental customers. No matter what changes that Bilt decides to implement, I'm really hopeful that they will keep the current Bilt MasterCard that I have in my wallet, as it is really my top recommendation when it comes to some of my friends and family when they ask which credit card that they should get, given some of the spending multipliers and even the benefits that come with it being a World Elite MasterCard. While I see it as one of the strengths of Bilt that they are continuing to innovate and find new creative ways to bring people value, I think this has actually opened up the door for some increased competition now within the space with things like the Mesa homeowners card. The Mesa card was first announced in fall of 2024 and is very revolutionary in its own right, giving people that ability to earn on mortgage payments, which we're now seeing Bilt move towards as well. Like I said, with the Mesa card, you're earning 1x back on your mortgage payments every single month after spending $1,000 on that card. You're also earning 3x back on things like home improvement stores or utilities, and 2x back on things like gas or EV charging stations. Up until about 5 days ago at the time of recording this video, those rewards that you were getting back on this Mesa card could typically be redeemed for cash back or gift cards, both below a 1 cent per point value. However, they did just announce the addition of some transfer partners, which could really make them a true competitor to this Bilt 2.0 card that we're expecting. I'm very interested to see exactly how popular this Mesa card could potentially become, and exactly how this card being announced will actually shape what we do end up getting with the Bilt 2.0 card. Like I mentioned in the breakdown of that survey, I think the cards that we were actually shown are going to actually be far worse than what we actually end up getting with Bilt 2.0, and call me naive, but I'm just a glass half full type of guy and I always like to think positive. So I think from a marketing perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense for Bilt to show us maybe some subpar credit card options in that survey, and then whenever they do announce Bilt 2.0, give us these different card offerings that are way better than anyone had seen before to really create some buzz and get them back in the good graces of the credit card community. In some more recent Bilt news, some more exciting changes, things like adding Southwest Airlines as a major domestic airline transfer partner. They also announced that with other credit cards, you can now earn Bilt points as well, which up until this point, if you were to use, say, your Chase Freedom Unlimited, while you would earn 1.5x back on that purchase of your rent payment, you would get hit with a 3% transaction fee, and you would only be earning, I believe it's 250 Bilt points. But now with these changes, any card from Visa or Discover can earn that 1x back on rent when paying through Bilt's portal, and the American Express cards do earn 1 point for every $2 spent on those cards. So now when doing things like hunting a sign-up bonus, which plays into one of the issues that I have with this card, is the fact that you will actually be earning Bilt rewards on top of the rewards from that credit card. And as long as you're spending towards a sign-up bonus, getting things like a 30% return on spend, that heavily outweighs the 3% transaction fee that you'd get hit with. Leaning more into that college demographic, Bilt has also recently announced that you can actually use your Bilt rewards points at a 1 cent per point redemption value towards paying off your student loans. And they are sort of test running an ability to actually pay for your student housing by using your Bilt rewards points as well. I believe that's being tested right now at Baylor University. In some other Bilt news over these last few months, what's really turned a lot of people off or really upset a few people out there and maybe make them less hopeful about Bilt's future is some of the issues that have been going on in terms of their communication and some of the changes that they're making on the back end. Things like creating their own travel portal and removing the partnership that they previously had with Expedia, no longer giving you the ability to use your Bilt rewards points on things like entertainment or tickets. They also announced some changes to the way that they were going to process rent payments for any out-of-network properties. And the way that they explained it, the way that it was communicated, a very cryptic email was sent out from what I understand, and a Reddit post then was going on with Richard Kerr, the VP of travel over there, where he was trying to basically backtrack the email that was sent out. Just go ask Matt Clawson exactly how that whole process went. He's got a great video on that, and I really appreciated his take on the whole thing. So now with all the negatives out of the way, and I totally understand why some people are now questioning maybe the potential of Bilt and the way that they've been communicating and how it's really not how a major credit card issuer should be operating. I still stand by the fact that the Bilt MasterCard in its current state, barring any product change requirements when these new cards come out or anything like that, will still be my top no annual fee credit card recommendation for people out there. Think about it. Just having to go into the Bilt rewards system, set up your automatic payment every single month for your rent payments using your Bilt card, automatically gets you 1x back on rent every single month. And if you're not someone who's knees deep in the credit card game with a bunch of different credit cards, and this is going to be one of, if not your only credit card that you're spending on every single month, you're going to hit that 5 transaction minimum without an issue, without even thinking about it. Outside of that, you are earning decently competitive spending multipliers on top spending categories like getting 2x back on travel or 3x back on dining. And some of the other benefits with the card, like the primary car rental insurance or the Hertz President Circle status that come with the card, stack very nicely when using that 2x back on travel category on all that spending, and you can really always guarantee that you're getting some of, if not the best protections and insurances that you can on any credit card in the game right now. So a great credit card, and one that I would personally recommend to a ton of people out there who aren't really that knowledgeable about credit cards and aren't sure where to go or which card to sign up for, absolutely. But for us in our situation, like I kind of referenced in the beginning, we're really just going pedal to the metal, applying for cards constantly between my fiance and I in 2-player mode, referring each other back and forth, really just trying to maximize the amount of points that we can earn through referral links and in turn sign-up bonuses using our elevated monthly spending. So given that I'm always putting spending towards a minimum spend requirement to hit a sign-up bonus, whether it be cards from Chase or American Express, I've really just had a set it and forget it mentality with the Bilt credit card. So I just have a few recurring charges, a couple dollars at a time for some subscriptions that I have preloaded onto my Bilt account, just so that I can hit that 5 transaction minimum to activate the 1x back on rent. And I can really appreciate the fact that this card does actually waive the typical 2 to 3% fee when paying your rent payments using a credit card, and the fact that it can give you actual rewards for those rent payments every single month, which I previously had never gotten. The one main issue that I have with the card is that it just took up a Chase 524 slot, and I could have used that application on a different card, like maybe a Chase Ink card or one of the other Chase personal cards, to just rack up more points that we could use for our honeymoon. The way that I view the card now is that it's a no-brainer for us to have for years and years. Like I said, hopefully they don't make any changes or tack on an annual fee to the current card. As long as it's a no annual fee credit card, I have no issue keeping this in our wallet, trying to maximize as best we can rent day when you're getting things like 6x back on dining or 4x back on travel, up to an additional 1,000 bonus points, and just making sure that it's always kept as the default payment method on our Bilt portal to pay off our rent every single month. We'll always have a consistent way of earning a few thousand Bilt points every single month. My issue is mainly in the short term, and the fact that I am currently at Chase 424, and I could easily think of maybe 5 credit cards right now off the top of my head that I would have rather used that Chase 524 slot on than this Bilt MasterCard. Given that the Bilt card doesn't currently offer a sign-up bonus of any kind, and that you're really limited in terms of the amount of points that you could earn every single month unless you were to shift all of your dining spend over to that card. In our situation, I had my fiance apply for the Amex Gold Card back in October of 2024, so getting 4x back on both dining and groceries, it just keeps at least her credit card setup and the cards that she carries very simple. Essentially, all she has to do is put all of the food on the gold card and then put all of her catch-all spending on her Chase Ink Unlimited card. So to have to explain to her to put groceries on the gold, but here, take my Bilt card and make sure you pay at restaurants with this, it would just overcomplicate things for her, something that I could certainly manage if I really want to. But in my opinion, why not just use something like my Chase Freedom Unlimited card, for example, to earn 3x back on Chase UR points instead of putting that dining spend on the Bilt card? Because we've added almost 14 credit cards, I think it is, up to this point, over just the last 7 or 8 months of being in this credit card game, we've really got all of our top spending categories covered with some of, if not the best spending multipliers that you can get in the case of that Amex Gold card. Having a good credit card setup on the Chase side with things like the Chase Sapphire Preferred for both myself and my fiance, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, we both have an Ink Unlimited card, and I also have the Ink Preferred, so we've really got all those categories covered if we ever felt the need to put more emphasis on earning Chase Ultimate Rewards points to be able to transfer to something like Hyatt. With Bilt losing a transfer partner like American Airlines, for me and all the overlapping transfer partners that they currently have, I don't really see a need for us to be putting more spend on the Bilt card to just be earning in Bilt Rewards points when we have these other multi-card setups from the other top lenders with points currencies that can transfer to all the different transfer partners that we prefer with things like Hyatt, Delta Airlines, and then Marriott, which can be transferred from all 3 of these different lenders. So would I say that we regret adding this card to our setup? Not necessarily. And I think that in the long term, it will definitely pay off in terms of all the points that we're going to earn for our rent payments every single month, and year over year, those continue to increase as well. As I sit here today, though, at the time of recording this video, we are just about 100,000 points short of making the Marriott booking at a once-in-a-lifetime property. So knowing that I don't really have a Chase 524 slot to play with, I need to make this last application count, not only in terms of earning those points that we need for our honeymoon, but also I need to keep in mind that I won't be able to get an additional Chase credit card for the next year and a half or so until that 524 status comes down to 424. Now that you know my one big regret or issue that I have with the Bilt card, as you can tell, it's very specific to our situation. And just in a few months from now, all this wedding spend and sign-up bonus hunting and really high velocity of credit card applications is going to come to an end. So I think in a few months, I'll probably have a different take on the Bilt credit card. Like I said, hopefully if it doesn't change in its current state. And while I totally understand some of the hate and the pushback or negativity that people have when it comes to discussing Bilt, especially here on Credit Card YouTube, I don't think that Bilt deserves grace, but I just think that they're in a state where they're really trying to figure out how they became so popular so quickly. And now they're trying to almost backtrack and figure out exactly how to operate now as a major credit card lender. I'm very excited and interested to see exactly what 2025 has in store for Bilt, especially when it comes to that Bilt 2.0 and exactly what that's going to look like, how things like the Mesa credit card is going to shape and compete. And even once these new card offerings come out, I'm very interested to see how the current Bilt credit card stacks up if it doesn't require you to product change to one of the new Bilt 2.0 offerings. If you're interested to see some of the credit cards that have been taking up my other Chase 524 slots with some of my recent applications, make sure you check out this video next. Or if you want to see one of my other controversial or hot takes, make sure you check out this video next, where I break down the Amex Gold card and explain why I think it's better now than it was before the refresh back in 2024. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for watching the video, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.